Embrace these 8 Stoic principles to unlock your best self and transform your life. What if you held the keys to a fortress, a sanctuary of unshakable peace and clarity? No matter the storms of life, what if the only enemy you truly faced was within you? Imagine this: you're caught in a chaotic airport, flights delayed, announcements blaring, and tempers flaring around you. Yet there you stand, calm and composed, untouched by the whirlwind. Not because you're ignoring the chaos, but because you've mastered a philosophy older than empires, a philosophy that could transform your life. Today, we're uncovering the 8 Stoic principles that can unlock your best self and revolutionize how you see the world. Let me ask you a question. Are you truly in control of your life, or are you a prisoner of your reactions? We begin with a story. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, sat in his tent amid the dirt and blood of war, writing what we now know as Meditations. He wasn't pondering battle strategies, but reflecting on his own mind, on how to conquer it. Marcus wasn't immune to pain or fear, but he knew this: true freedom comes from mastering oneself, not from changing the external world. And that's where Stoicism begins, with the principle of the dichotomy of control. This principle teaches us to separate what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, from what we cannot, other people's opinions, the weather, or the twists of fate. Every time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Think about the last time you argued with someone who refused to see your point. Did that argument bring peace, or did it leave you frustrated? What if, instead, you had focused only on how you expressed yourself, leaving their reaction to them? But the dichotomy of control is just the first step. Amor Fati, or love of fate, takes it further. Imagine embracing everything that happens to you, the good and the bad, as if you had chosen it. Not with passive resignation, but with an active love for what is. A friend betrays you. Instead of drowning in resentment, you see it as a lesson in discernment. A job opportunity slips through your fingers. Instead of despair, you take it as a chance to redefine your goals. How many times have you cursed your circumstances, wishing they were different? But here's the paradox. The moment you stop resisting life and start embracing it, you gain the power to shape it. Let's turn to Memento Mori, the principle that reminds us of our mortality. Death is not a grim specter to fear, but a mentor urging us to live fully. Think of Seneca's words: "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." How often do we postpone living, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect job, the perfect partner, forgetting that our time is finite? If you had only 1 year to live, how would you spend it? Would you scroll endlessly on your phone? Or would you savor every conversation, every sunset? The clock is ticking. And that's not a tragedy. It's a gift. Memento Mori teaches us urgency, not in a frantic way, but in a deliberate one. Then there's the principle of negative visualization, a Stoic exercise that flips modern positivity on its head. Instead of obsessing over what you want, imagine losing what you already have. Picture your morning coffee, the warmth, the aroma, and then imagine it gone. Picture the people you love, then imagine life without them. This isn't to darken your mood, but to deepen your gratitude. When was the last time you truly appreciated something simple? The smile of a stranger, the quiet of the evening, the sound of rain? Negative visualization transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. Now, let's dive into virtue, the cornerstone of Stoicism. Virtue is the alignment of thought, word, and deed. It's not about being morally perfect, but about striving to act in harmony with your highest values. Courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. These are the pillars of a virtuous life. Consider a modern example. You're in a meeting, and someone takes credit for your work. The easy reaction is anger or spite, but the virtuous response is to calmly assert the truth without compromising your integrity. Virtue isn't about winning the moment. It's about winning yourself. Here's a challenge for you. What would your life look like if you lived according to your values, even when no one was watching? But Stoicism isn't just about lofty ideals. It's deeply practical. Take pragmatism, the idea of focusing only on what works. The Stoics didn't waste time arguing for the sake of it or chasing pointless goals. They asked, what is the most rational action I can take right now? Next time you're overwhelmed by options, pause, strip away the noise and ask, what is essential? What truly matters? You'll find clarity, not by doing more, but by doing less with intention. Finally, there's equanimity, the calmness that comes from accepting both triumph and disaster with the same grace. Imagine standing in the eye of a storm, not because the storm has stopped, but because you've stopped fighting it. When was the last time you let go of something that wasn't serving you? A toxic relationship, an unattainable standard, a grudge you've nursed for years? Equanimity doesn't mean indifference. It means inner strength. Let me leave you with this question as we move forward. If you could master just one of these principles, which one would transform your life the most? The art of inner fortitude. How Stoicism transforms chaos into clarity. Picture yourself standing on a crowded subway platform. It's rush hour, and the energy around you is frenetic impatience, irritation, the jostling of bodies. Suddenly, someone bumps into you, spilling your coffee. Most people would snap an angry retort, a glare, but imagine this instead. You pause, take a deep breath, and smile. Not because you're suppressing anger, but because you've trained your mind to see beyond the moment. This is the essence of Stoicism: clarity in chaos, strength in serenity. Let's start by exploring a profound Stoic principle, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It's the practice of visualizing challenges before they arise. This isn't about dwelling on negativity. It's about preparing your mind to respond rather than react. Before a difficult conversation, imagine the worst-case scenario, the raised voices, the accusations. Once you've envisioned it, ask yourself, what's the most rational way to handle this if it happens? Think of it like training for a marathon. You don't just hope the race will be easy. You prepare for the hills, the exhaustion, the unexpected cramps. Premeditatio malorum helps you build mental resilience so that when life throws curveballs, you're not caught off guard. How often do you prepare your mind for adversity? Not with fear, but with fortitude? Another principle, sympathia, reminds us of our connection to the greater whole. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We are all made for one another." This isn't a call to lose your individuality, but to recognize that your actions ripple outward, affecting the world in ways you can't always see. When someone cuts you off in traffic, it's easy to curse their selfishness. But what if, instead, you considered their humanity? Maybe they're rushing to the hospital or overwhelmed by stress. Sympathia teaches us empathy, not just for others but for ourselves. It's a reminder that we're all imperfect travelers on the same unpredictable road. The next time you feel isolated in your struggles, remember you're not alone. Your challenges are threads in the vast tapestry of human experience. Here's a deep question to ponder. How would your perspective change if you saw every encounter, even the frustrating ones, as an opportunity to practice compassion? Now, let's delve into apatheia, the state of being free from destructive emotions. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings or become a cold, unfeeling robot. Instead, it's about achieving emotional mastery. When anger flares or sadness grips you, ask, what story am I telling myself about this situation? Is it true? For example, imagine losing a job. The immediate story might be, I failed, I'm worthless. But is that the only narrative? Or could the story be, this is a chance to pursue something better, something aligned with my passions? Apatheia is not about denying emotions but choosing the ones that serve you. The Stoics also emphasized eudaimonia, or the pursuit of a flourishing life. This isn't about chasing fleeting pleasures or material success, but about living in alignment with your true self. Seneca put it beautifully, It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Reflect on your daily routines. How much time is spent on things that truly matter, on growth, relationships, purpose? What would happen if, for just 1 week, you dedicated your energy only to what nurtures your soul? And then, there's logos, the Stoic belief in a rational order to the universe. You don't have to believe in destiny to see its wisdom. Logos invites us to trust that life unfolds as it should, even when it doesn't align with our plans. Think of the times when disappointment led to unexpected blessings, a breakup that paved the way for a deeper love, a failure that sharpened your skills and determination. The next time life throws you into uncertainty, ask, what lesson might this hold for me? What opportunity does this challenge conceal? As we move further into the Stoic path, we encounter the principle of self-discipline. Imagine you're at a buffet, surrounded by every dish you love. The temptation is to pile your plate high, but Stoicism teaches us the power of moderation. Not because indulgence is inherently wrong, but because restraint strengthens us. Self-discipline isn't about deprivation. It's about freedom. The freedom to choose what serves your highest self. How often do you let fleeting desires control your actions? And what would your life look like if you reversed that dynamic? Finally, let's revisit the concept of Amor Fati with fresh eyes. Loving your fate doesn't mean passivity. It's an act of courage. Imagine standing at a crossroads, facing a path littered with obstacles. Amor Fati isn't about wishing for a smoother road. It's about embracing the rocky one because it's uniquely yours. Each stone is a teacher. Each challenge a sculptor shaping you into your best self. So, I'll leave you with this. What if every difficulty you faced wasn't a setback but a stepping stone? How would your life transform if you loved it all? The struggles, the triumphs, the ordinary moments in between. Stoic mastery. Living with purpose and power in an unpredictable world. Let's take a moment to reflect on where we've journeyed. You've learned about control, resilience, empathy, and even the courage to embrace fate. But Stoicism doesn't stop at individual mastery. It challenges us to bring this inner transformation into the world. How do you become not just a Stoic thinker but a Stoic leader, a beacon of purpose and power amidst the unpredictability of life? This is where we truly unlock the life-altering potential of Stoicism. Imagine a storm at sea. Waves crash against your vessel, and the wind threatens to tear your sails apart. Most would panic, frozen by fear or consumed by anger at the storm's injustice. But the Stoic captain steadies the helm, knowing that control lies not in calming the sea but in navigating through it. This is courage in action, the application of Stoic principles in real time. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it. Think of the fears you've faced recently, a difficult conversation you avoided, a risk you didn't take, a truth you hesitated to confront. Now ask yourself, what held you back? Was it the fear of failure, rejection, or discomfort? What would change if you saw fear not as a wall but as a doorway? This brings us to pararesis, the Stoic term for moral purpose or inner will. Pararesis is your guiding compass, the part of you that remains untouchable by external events. When you operate from this core, no criticism can diminish you, no praise can inflate you. Imagine receiving harsh feedback. Instead of reacting defensively, you pause and ask, is there truth in this? If so, how can I use it to grow? Pararesis shifts your focus from external validation to internal growth. Let's deepen this with the art of detachment. Epictetus famously said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our interpretations of them." Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means seeing things as they are, not as your emotions paint them. For instance, losing money in an investment can feel catastrophic. But is it truly? Or is it an opportunity to learn, to refine your strategy? Detachment allows you to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. Here's a question to sit with. What stories are you telling yourself about your challenges? And what would happen if you rewrote those stories from a place of calm objectivity? As we strive for mastery, we encounter the principle of service to others. Stoicism is not a solitary pursuit. It's a philosophy of interconnectedness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees." True strength lies not in building walls, but in building bridges. Think about your daily interactions. Are you lifting others up or pulling them down? Are your words and actions aligned with the greater good? Service doesn't have to be grandiose. Could be as simple as listening attentively to someone who feels unheard or offering encouragement to a colleague struggling with self-doubt. These small acts ripple outward, creating waves of positivity far beyond what you can see. But even as we serve others, Stoicism reminds us to guard our energy through boundaries and balance. There's wisdom in saying no, in protecting your time and mental space. Imagine a jar filled with water. If you keep pouring without refilling, eventually, it runs dry. Balance ensures you have the strength to continue serving, not from exhaustion but from abundance. When was the last time you paused to replenish yourself? Physically, emotionally, or spiritually? And how might your impact grow if you consistently operated from a place of balance? Now, let's revisit eudaimonia, the flourishing life, with a broader lens. Flourishing isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's waking up each day with the intention to live fully, to face life's trials with courage, and to savor its joys with gratitude. The flourishing life is built, brick by brick, through daily choices, a kind word instead of a harsh one, a disciplined habit instead of a fleeting indulgence, a moment of mindfulness instead of distraction. Reflect on this. If someone observed your actions for a week, what would they conclude about your priorities? Are you living in alignment with what truly matters to you? Finally, let's embrace the ultimate Stoic challenge: radical acceptance of the present. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. All you have is this moment, and in this moment, you have a choice: to resist life or to engage with it fully. Radical acceptance isn't passive. It's a fierce commitment to living with purpose, no matter the circumstances. So, here's your final question. What would your life look like if you embraced every moment? Not just the easy ones, but the messy, imperfect ones with open arms? This is the power of Stoicism. It's not a philosophy to read about. It's a way of life to embody. You've learned 8 principles, but they are just the beginning. The true transformation happens when you apply them, when you live them, when you become them, as you go forward. Remember, the storm doesn't define the sailor. The sailor defines how they navigate the storm. And in every storm, there is an opportunity to discover the depths of your courage, wisdom, and strength. Now it's your turn. Will you take the first step? Will you embrace these principles and unlock your best self? The choice is yours.